JT here, and as promised, this video I will share with you the moment that finally woke me up and made me realize that I needed to make a change. There are many events that I've been kind of accumulating up to this point, but there was one specific day about 2.5 years ago that really sent me over the edge. So it was at my job. It took me quite some time to build up the courage, but I finally did it. I walked into my manager's office and I asked for a promotion. This was not easy for me to do. I don't like really talking about myself and the successes and all that stuff. Um, so you might get a sense to where this is going. And quite frankly, if you are watching this and following me, you might have been in this exact situation before as well. Um, but during that initial conversation with my manager, he seemed open and receptive to the idea. He agreed, but he agreed it was a possibility, but needed to speak with some of the other leaders in the office and the region, and so that makes sense. So I was like, all right, that's great. He's open to it. It wasn't a no. Um, a couple weeks go by, hadn't heard anything, so I knock on his door and I asked him if there was an update. And he said, there's a lot of dialogue going on, but we're working on it. I think it looks promising. I'll have an update for you at some point in the future. So it's like, awesome. They're working on it. Yes. Um, but another couple weeks go by and I didn't hear anything. So I go by his office again, ask him if there's any updates. And he says, you know what, there is. Why don't you meet me in the conference room in about 10 minutes? I was like, okay. And I was like, oh, yes, yes. I go back to my desk. I am so giddy with the excitement. Those 10 minutes felt like 10 hours. And all I could think about is what I was going to tell my wife, where are we going to celebrate, how many bottles of wine at dinner are we going to order. This is what I've been working so hard for. This is going to be great. So 10 minutes pass and I go to the conference room, and shortly after I get there, my manager walks in, followed by the leader of our office and another senior colleague that I work very closely with. I was like, well, that's kind of interesting. They're here. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they want to tell me the good news as well. This is going to be great. We'll have a little party together. Um, so we sat down. I'm smiling, and very quickly, what was going to be the happiest day of my career um, uh, turned into one of the most humiliating. I'm actually very grateful that this day happened. It's just still sometimes hard to kind of relive this story because it really hurt and was a big blow to my ego. So I wasn't just turned down. I was told that I need to trust my salary accurately reflects my value in relationship to the rest of the office. What? Like, what is that corporate bullcrap? And they basically told me I was overvaluing myself and that what I'm currently getting paid was appropriate. Uh, to say I was shocked is the understatement of the decade. I basically translated that in my head to just shut up, get back to work. You're getting paid what you're getting paid. End of conversation. And so it took every ounce of energy in my body not to flip out. It took uh, I needed to make sure I didn't say something that I would regret. It also took every ounce in my body not to cry in front of all of them. That's that's how much it hurt. So they kept trying to talk to me. The meeting went on for a little longer, but honestly, it was just like wah 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 wah. I couldn't hear, I didn't want to hear anything else they had to say. All I wanted was that meeting to end, and I wanted that meeting to have never happened to begin with. Glad that it did, but at the time, I never wanted it to happen. So honestly, shortly after that meeting ended, I ended up leaving work. I just couldn't focus. I couldn't think about anything. I needed to get out of there. So I got down to my truck in the parking garage. Uh, Before I even could shut the door, the tears just started pouring out of my face. I was just so upset and humiliated. I thought this was going to be such a wonderful day, a wonderful night. I was going to get to go home, give my wife a big hug and a kiss and celebrate with her. We had a newborn. My son was just born. I'd been working so hard, and this was going to be kind of the fruit of that labor. And it was it was the opposite. I gave my steering wheel a couple nice hard punches. Don't worry, I've apologized to my truck since then. Turned the car on, and I got home. So there was no celebratory dinner with my wife that night. Um, Instead, something even better happened that night. I made a promise to myself, and I didn't know how. I didn't know when. I didn't know anything really, but I just made a promise to myself that someday I won't have to ask anyone for a promotion. If I want to raise, the only person who controls that decision would be me. And so I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that story. You've probably had a similar situation happen, or you feel that way. You're overworked and underpaid, and really, that's one of the reasons why I'm on this journey. I want a better life for me, better life for my family, but also a life that I control. If you're like me and you want that control, then I want you to hop on this tugboat, come along for the ride with me. I want you to comment below, I want that raise, and we're going to raise it up together. Okay. And so in this next video, I'm going to talk about after I regrouped, got myself back up on my feet, made that promise to myself. What did I do next? I started searching for ways to make money online. And when you do that, you immediately turn on a fire hose of information that just gets blasted into your face. And this is where the loving to learn became a blessing and a curse. So I can't wait to talk to you about that. So appreciate your time and thank you for tuning in. Cheers.